A day a long time coming for MVC fans and Racer fans alike has finally arrived as Murray State is officially a member of the Missouri Valley. The MVC hired Jeff Jackson away from the Big 12 as its new commissioner. Jeff Jackson had an extensive background in basketball as both a coach and at the administrative level. New Commissioner Jackson has hit the ground running as he and the MVC presidents have hit 2 home runs with Belmont and Murray State. Murray State has a 9,000 enrollment, a $90 million endowment, a $14.8 million athletic budget, a $2.56 million men's basketball budget, and they took in $1.4 million in ticket sales in 2018-19. The Racers have a 10-year KenPom of 114, a 3-year attendance of 4,710. They're known for traveling thousands to the OVC tournament, and Murray, Kentucky is just a bit over 3 hours from Arch Madness. Murray State is the 43rd all-time winningest program. ESPN ranked them 28th in their list of all-time greatest programs. The Racers have had 3 top 25 teams in the last 25 years. 2 of them came in the past 10 years, and they entered the OVC final top 25. Murray had 29 consecutive winning seasons from 87 to 2016. They've had 1 under 500 season since 1987 and 2 under 500 seasons since 1979. Whether it's Gottfried, Cronin, Kennedy, Prom, Popeye, Cannon, Payne, Morant, it doesn't matter. Murray State has had sustained success no matter who leaves. Murray has built a culture on and off the court that spans generations. Sources told CBS that the school's small but feverishly dedicated fan base and its continued success in men's basketball helped it overcome the number one thing holding the university back in making a previous leap to the Missouri Valley, its remote location and lack of being in a metropolitan area. Realignment historically is harsh on schools like Murray in remote locations. With university presidents calling the shots, realignment favors schools with big markets for student recruiting and student athlete recruiting, high academic rankings, as university presidents generally have a reputation of being snobby and exclusive, and being near an airport hub with an abundance of cheaper flights for non-revenue sports of their conference mates. Murray State's athletic director showed part of his presentation to the MVC presidents in St. Louis at the Murray State Board of Regents meeting on Friday. It was a very self-aware presentation and aware of what he needed to do to win over the university presidents as he addressed what those university presidents might view as the weaknesses head on. He pivoted from Murray's micro-statistical area to Paducah's 84th ranked DMA. He highlighted the academic success of Murray's student athletes, and he pitched the upgrades to Paducah's airport. But as good as his presentation was, Murray never gets in with both number 1 and number 2, those being decades of sustained excellence and rabid fandom passed through generations, with the team becoming the identity of the community. Having one without the other, whether it was number 2 without number 1 or number 1 without number 2, would have never gotten Murray in. Murray needed both that sustained excellence and that fandom that travels in order to overcome their disadvantages in the eyes of the university presidents. And that's how Murray State beat what typically happens in realignment, is Murray State fans willed their school into the Missouri Valley. And they can celebrate beating all the odds tomorrow at Murray State's Missouri Valley Community Celebration event. Murray State is also starting fundraising for a massive facilities plan that will upgrade the facilities at a dozen MVC men's and women's sports. The Racers walk into the Missouri Valley with 3 natural rivals. They have a rivalry of convenience with Belmont that has had a lot of high-stakes games since Belmont has entered the OVC. The two have met in the OVC final with an NCAA tournament berth on the line in 5 of the past 9 years. Murray also has a rivalry of respect with Evansville. There's a lot of goodwill between the two fan bases, from thousands of Racer fans traveling to Evansville for the OVC tournament. The last time the Racers played in Evansville against the Aces, over 7,000 fans turned out. And finally, a rivalry of hate between Southern Illinois and Murray State, who are split dead even in their 38 all-time meetings. Murray is very similar to Southern Illinois, where the team is the identity of the community, as the Salukis are the identity of Little Egypt, like the Racers are for Murray. Like how Murray has a reputation for invading the OVC tournament, Southern Illinois had a similar reputation back in the mid 2000s. If those two get good at the same time, watch out because it's pure hate between the two fan bases. Murray State has been to 17 NCAA tournaments. They have 4 NCAA tournament wins. They've sent 3 teams to the round of 32 since 2010. They're one of 8 programs not in the future Power 5 or Big East to do so, along with Gonzaga, Wichita State, San Diego State, Virginia Commonwealth, Dayton, giving Dayton the COVID tournament, St. Louis, and Northern Iowa. The Racers have had 2 single-digit seeds, and they've twice given a national champion or national runner-up its closest game. Part of the advantage in moving from the OVC to the MVC is the draw you get in the bracket, and Murray's had multiple teams good enough to make a deep run had they not run into the national champion or national runner-up and given them their toughest game. Furthermore, Murray State has also had several close calls with blue bloods like Kansas, Michigan State, Duke, and North Carolina. Going through some of those famous Racer teams, the 88 Racers upset number 14 NC State in the NCAA tournament before giving the Jayhawks their closest game, who would win the national championship. The 1990 Murray State Racers came within a hair of becoming the first 16 seed to take down a 1 seed, as they took Michigan State to overtime and are the only 16 seed to do so. As I've never found more than a couple minutes of footage from that game, I researched the game on a Michigan State board to find out what eyewitness accounts said, and the consensus was that Murray State was the better team in that game and Sparty got a little lucky. The 98 Racers earned a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament and had 2 BCS wins in the regular season, including a blowout win over number 12 Arkansas. It was their final season in Racer Arena, their home for 44 years, where they won roughly 79% of their games. The 2010 Racers went 31-5, beating Vanderbilt on a buzzer beater in the NCAA tournament. They were national runner-up Butler's closest game before losing by centimeters to Duke in the national final. The 2012 Racers went 31-2 after starting 23-0 and were ranked number 7 in the country in early February. They had 2 top 25 wins and earned a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. Dickie V announced their Bracket Busters game in Murray versus number 16 St. Mary's. The Valleys had 2 schools on College Game Day, Southern Illinois in the mid-2000s and Northern Iowa when they were ranked number 9 in 2015. But College Game Day picked sites preseason this year, so Game Day went to a location with 2 teams that were ranked lower than both SMC and Murray. Otherwise, Murray would be one of 3 MVC teams who've been in College Game Day. The 2015 Racers went on a 25-game winning streak and were ranked number 25 in the country entering the OVC final before falling to Belmont 88-87 on a buzzer beater. The 2019 Racers went 28-5, demolishing Big East runner-up Marquette by 19 in the NCAA tournament. Murray State's conference history started off in the Mississippi Valley Conference before holding dual membership in the SIAA and the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The Racers would co-found the Ohio Valley Conference in '48 and would stay there for 74 years before moving to the Missouri Valley. We'll start with 1932-33, Murray's first season in the KIAC, and move through the years rapidly. Evansville is the only MVC school Murray has crossed paths with, as Evansville was a co-founder of the OVC along with Murray State. Murray shared a league with Louisville for roughly 17 years between the KIAC and the OVC, and the Racers watched as many schools left the OVC through its 74 years in the conference. Whether that was East Tennessee State, or Middle Tennessee, or Western Kentucky, and then in recent years, Austin Peay and Eastern Kentucky. Murray won 27 regular season championships in 74 years in the OVC, an incredible 37% clip over 3/4 of a century, and the Racers won the OVC tournament 17 times. With Murray moving on to the Missouri Valley, that will leave Morehead State as the only OVC founder left. Here are the athletic budgets of the Missouri Valley. The athletic budgets are broken down in terms of how much money goes towards student aid money, and then what's left over of the athletic budget after accounting for student aid money. So this graph sorts by the athletic budget money left over after you take away the student aid money, and Illinois State has the highest athletic budget in the Valley. Here are the men's basketball budgets with their Division I ranking. Bradley has the highest men's basketball budget in the Valley. Accounting for future departures, Murray State had the fourth biggest men's basketball budget discrepancy below the P5 level relative to the average men's basketball budget in their league. Murray's 3-year attendance average pre-COVID would rank fourth in the MVC. Bradley leads the way, followed by Illinois State and Evansville. Everyone in the Valley has been between 4 and 10 NCAA tournaments. Murray's been to 17. And this graph breaks it down between post-85 and pre-85 when the NCAA tournament expanded to 64 teams. Murray's 4 NCAA tournament wins would rank in the middle of the Valley. Bradley has the most, followed by Southern Illinois and Drake. The MVC has a storied history of deep NCAA tournament runs. The Valley is one of 7 conferences where every member has won a game in the NCAA tournament. The Valley stacks up well with its peers in terms of NCAA tournament winning percentage, whether it's the past 5, 10, 15 NCAA tournaments, and whether you subtract the schools who have left or not. The Valley has had more success in the NCAA tournament over the past 5, 10, 15 years than the A-10 in the Mountain West. Murray State would have a 10-year KenPom ranking third in the Valley. Belmont would rank first, Northern Iowa second. Before Loyola left the Valley for the Atlantic 10, the 5-year KenPom averages would have ranked the Valley 8th, just one spot behind the A-10. And once Loyola moved, the Valley fell from 8th to 10th, behind the Mountain West and West Coast, but ahead of the American. After Murray's move to the MVC, the Valley moves ahead of the West Coast Conference into the number 9 slot. If Loyola had stayed in the Valley and in Murray State, the Valley would have ranked 7th in 5-year KenPom, passing up the Atlantic 10. The MVC as a league has always done well in TV ratings for its championship game, ranking 7th over the past 4 years. Moreover, the linear TV packages will provide much more exposure, roughly 5 times more exposure in the regular season. And with the championship game ratings, you'd have to make 4, maybe 5 OVC title games to match how many viewers you would get out of one MVC title game. The MVC also has a robust RSN package that spans NBC Sports Chicago, Bally Sports Midwest, Bally Sports Indiana, Bally Sports Kansas City. And per a document on the Murray State website, the MVC is in negotiations with Bally Sports South and Bally Sports Southeast. If the Valley can strike a deal, that would improve the league's RSN coverage immensely. And here's the travel matrix with Arch Madness, Drake, UNI, Missouri State, ISU Red, BU Peoria, SIU, Valpo, ISU Blue, Evansville, Murray, and BU Nashville.
It's nothing, it's so normal. You just stand there. I could say so much, but I don't go there 'cause I don't want to. Well, I was thinking if you were lonely, maybe we could leave here, no one would know. At least not to the point that we would think so. And everyone here knows everyone here is thinking about somebody else. Well, it's best if we all keep this under our heads. But I couldn't tell if anyone here was feeling the way I do. But I'm lonely now, and I don't know how to get it back to good. This don't mean own me. Well, this ain't no good. In fact, it's phony as hell. Yeah, but things worked out just like you wanted to. If you see me out, you don't know me. Try to turn your head, try and give me some room. How to figure out just what I'm gonna do. Everyone here hates everyone here for doing just like they do. And it's best if we all keep this quiet instead. And I couldn't tell why everyone here was doing me like they do. Sorry now, and I don't know how to get it back. It's good. Well, everyone here has wanted what it's like to be with somebody else. And everyone here's to blame. Hell, everyone here gets caught up in the pleasure of the pain. Yeah, well, everyone here hides shades of shame. Yeah, but looking inside, we're the same. We're the same. We're all grown now. Yeah, but we don't know how to get it back to good.